on, everybody? I want to welcome you back to Knicks Deli, baby. So this isn't a full Knicks Deli edition, all right? This is going to be a quick deli run. So that's when you just get up, go get this thing, get out of there, all right? And we're doing that because I made this video a little bit late. And also, we got a game coming up tonight. So I'm going to be doing a Knicks Deli in the morning for tonight's game. But I had to leave my comments on this game that we've done. I'm in a little bit of a different location. I have my younger sister here for a few days. She takes over, okay? So I'm pushed to this alternate location. So bear with me, we still gonna get it in. But first and foremost, last night game, we got a nice win, 21-10. The New York Knicks are on a 6-game win streak. This is what you like to see. Knicks fans, do not pay attention to old media. Those days are done. The days in which you got somebody who's trying to be salacious and somebody trying to say, oh, I expect more from the Knicks. They should be on a 20-game win streak. Oh, 21-10, that's not good enough. Look, they're trying to incite you, Knicks fans. No other team do they make reference directly to the team's fan base than the New York Knicks. So understand when they are trying to manipulate you, okay? Seems like I'm a master of recognizing when somebody is trying to manipulate you. That's what the fan base, that's what the media is trying to do to the fan base, okay? But a win is a win is a win. And last night, it was ugly. I'm not even going to lie to you. It was an ugly thing to watch, at least in the first half. We started stepping into who it is that we are towards the latter part of the third, and then it was a, cakewalk in the fourth. But the first half, it was turnover city, baby. I mean, the score was low. It was turnover city. It was scrappy. It was fighting. People were bleeding. I thought it was the 90s, baby. I was looking for Jeff Van Gundy on the sidelines. But that's an example of the New York Knicks having the ability to win in any particular style, okay? So real quick, if you're here and you're new to the channel, I want to welcome you. This is Knicks Deli. I am the owner, I am the proprietor, I am the host. My name is Sheer, all right? And we are first to many, second to no one when it comes to news and interesting views about our New York Knicks. But how does Knicks Deli work, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. There's 4 items on the menu here at Knicks Deli. First item on the menu is the bacon, egg, and cheese, okay? If you're from New York, everybody knows that's one of the best sandwiches in the world, okay? Bacon, egg, and cheese, you can't say, can I get a bacon, egg, and cheese? You gotta say bacon, egg, and cheese. And that's 4 different elements on one sandwich that makes that sandwich outstanding. Here in Knicks Deli, we look at who are the 3 players that put together really made it an outstanding impact and helped us get over the top for the win. Next item that's on the menu is the dollar slice. Once again, I don't have to say anything about New York pizza. It speaks for itself. But one thing in terms of New York pizza as it relates to the state of New York, it's a stabilizing factor, all right? Everybody knows that New York has the best pizza in the world. We talk our talk, we walk our walk. So we want to talk about who is the player that presented a stabilizing effect on the game and helped us get this victory. Next item that's on the menu is the chopped cheese. Chopped cheese is relatively new to that New York menu, but that thing be busting. So we're going to talk about who is the player that had either a relatively new contribution or really made a relatively new impact and helped us get this victory as well. And lastly, you can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese. You can't have the chopped cheese. You can't have the dollar slice if you ain't got nothing to wash that thing down with. And here in Knicks Deli, we call it the quarter water of the game. So the quarter water of the game is a player who inserted a jolt of energy for us. Someone who came in and their impact on the game really helped us get over the top and get this victory. So we're going to look at who's the quarter water of the game. Now, that is the nice part of the menu. Those are the things that are the feel good, nostalgic items on the menu in terms of Knicks Deli. But then you got to have that thing on the menu for those out-of-towners, right? Those people who are a little bit on the outside of the loop. It could be occasionally Knicks fans who just want to be in their hater energy, okay? And for that, I have put something special on the menu for them. We call that the glizzy of the game. Ayo is right. Who gets the glizzy of the game? That goes to somebody who you just want to STFU. Shut the front door, okay? You want to just shut them up, but you don't want to push them out. You want to make sure they're fed because everybody eats here at Knicks Deli. So we give them the glizzy of the game. And then lastly, we look at who gets the nah, son, nah, you wildin' moment of the game. And that's either during the broadcast, before the game, after the game, major media. Somebody that says something that makes you look at them sideways and be like, nah, son, nah. You wildin', all right? And then we wrap this thing up. But we're going to do it extra express because this is a deli run and this is not Knicks Deli. So let's get into it. Who gets the bacon, egg, and cheese? Who is the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese? Obviously, everybody knows the bacon goes to Josh Hart. Josh Hart had a phenomenal impact. The man we call Mr. Everything. I say he had Dennis Rodman spirit. He's had it since he's been here in New York, except you add some offense to that. Last night, his stat line, once again, was very Josh Hartish. 23 points, 13 rebounds, 2 steals. The man is the best. We got the best rebounding guard in the NBA. He embodies the game will tell you what to do. You know that saying that Tibbs always throws out there to the media? You know, the game will tell you what to do. This man is the what. If the game will tell you what to do was a person, it'd be Josh Hart like this. In a dictionary, that would be him. I'll tell you, he was all over the game last night. His fingerprints were all over the game. He was on the floor. He was getting blocks. He was getting rebounds. The man was getting punched in the face, all of that. And he has a motor that doesn't quit. The man never gets fatigued. He has a nose for the ball. That was critical even in those moments when we were pulling away for the game. He just seems to be in the right place to get that last minute rebound or to tap the ball out. So the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese today goes to Josh Mother Flippin' Hart. Who gets the egg? Obviously, it's his roommate. Our guy captain, the brother taker, Jalen Mother Flippin' Brunson. Jalen Brunson does Jalen Brunson things. The moment he smelt weakness in the game, he attacked it. And what I'm talking about in terms of weakness was this man is a mid-range maestro. All right, this man has footwork like Hakeem Olajuwon and an Isaiah Thomas type of body. All right, the man, he saw the opportunity, he smelled blood in the water, and he just broke out all 4 million of his moves. He knew the guy that was guarding him so well. He kept taking a hard step to the right and then spinning to the left every time. Every time. Look, if it keeps working, don't go away from it. So that's ultimately what he did, to a tune of 26 points, 3 rebounds, and he dropped down 9 dimes. All right? The Undertaker smelled weakness, he smelled blood, and the man started laying tombstones. He was surgical with it. Like I said, he figured his ops out early. Then they started getting physical with him. You know, they started elbowing him, bumping him a little bit more. We weren't getting calls. And that's why there's a value of a team effort. Something else I want to point out in my last point about Jalen Brunson, in terms of being the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese, it may not show up in the stat sheet, and he may not always be able to close it out, but his defensive effort has been noticeably improved this season. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but the man's defensive energy, that effort he puts out in really trying to alter his man in terms of denying him where he wants to go, preventing the shot, or even going for a steal, or even drawing fouls. The man is locked in. Attitude reflects leadership, and we have a captain who wasn't known for his defensive impact and effort, who's really stepping it up. So, egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese go to our guy, the Undertaker, Jalen Brunson. Now, who gets the cheese? Who gets the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese? Why not make it a Villanova sandwich? Today is going to be a Villanova sandwich. Shout out to Mikal Bridges. Round of applause for Mikal Bridges. Yep. So we give the cheese to Mikal Bridges today. 6 of 12 from the field. The man is on a continuous streak in terms of his comeback, his solid play. And it's no coincidence that the moment he started playing steady is the moment we started going on this little win streak that we have. The defense that he's playing also, you would think would always have been stabilizing, but it's now catching up to his most recent offensive excellence, and that's good for the New York Knicks. I continue to be amazed by his physical tools. The 7-foot reach, or the 7'2" reach that he has. It's obvious on defense when he's able to really like slap, the basketball away from an offensive player, or grab a rebound, or make deflections, or even when he only took 2 strides and it looked like he was at the top of the key, was able to dunk the basketball. The man really is an asset that we have added to our team that's going to be problematic for a lot of the ops deep into the season that we go. So once again, the man added on top of going 6 for 12, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists. He gets the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese. So next on the menu is the dollar slice. Who gets the dollar slice of the game? Who is that stabilizing factor for us in last night's win? And I'm going to give that to Cat. Once again, I think Cat players are still starting to really see that the New York Knicks are a problem offensively overall. And they really are tuned into, especially those teams on the Eastern Conference who didn't see him as often as they did last year. They're trying to figure him out. How do we slow him down? How do we disrupt him? And if we get physical with him, will that disrupt the flow of the New York Knicks offense? So a lot of teams are trying it and they're not being successful at it. So they did try it with him last night, and you could see his frustration, but it was really kind of hacking and whacking on him. But he still ended the game with about 16 points and 8 rebounds, but he did get into early foul trouble and ultimately ended the game with about 4 fouls. And that really stops, if you know Cat has played a physical brand of basketball, that will impact the way he shows up in the game. But he still was putting forth that effort, and going 6 for 10 from the field was a noticeable difference. He had patience though, and you could see that he wasn't trying to force anything. Once again, it's an indicator that the team is well balanced, that he didn't have to try to force his will on the game in order for us to see this victory. So with that being said, we're going to get a dollar slice to our guy, Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. Next item on the menu is the chopped cheese. Who gets the chopped cheese of the game? Chopped cheese is relatively new to that New York menu, but that thing be bussin'. So who gets the chopped cheese of the game? Chopped cheese of the game goes to my guy, Landry Shamet. All right, I created a video for him. Last night, you got a taste of it. Go watch the video. It really talks about what he brings to the game, what he brings to the table. The man really started to separate himself and solidify his spot in Tibbs' rotation in preseason, and then he dislocated his shoulder. So what we're seeing now is he got 10 minutes last night, and that's a little bit more than previous game. But what you're seeing is Tom Thibodeau slowly folding him back into the regular rotation, getting him acclimated as he should as a veteran coach. But in that 10-minute period, Shamet went 3 for 4 for 7 points. All right, he had a 3. He was 1 for 1 for 3-point range. Something that he is surgical with is the off-ball movement. It's the slashing. This is what has placed New York on this 6-game win streak. This is what separates us from a lot of teams. This improved movement and flow of our offense since we got Julius Randle out of here, okay? And Landry Shamet is a perfect fit for that style. So today, the chopped cheese here in the deli run of Knicks Deli goes to our guy, Landry Shamet. Shout out to you, my guy. All right, as we begin to close this thing out, next item on the menu is the quarter water. All right, quarter water goes to that player that has an injection of energy on a game. He fires up his team, he's ready to go, and he's there when his name is called. And we're going to give the quarter water today to Precious Achiuwa. All right, Precious Achiuwa gets the quarter water of the game. We see, now that we wait for bated breath for Mitchell Robinson to come back, our starting center, we need to have a big that comes in and is productive in some way, whether it's putting points on the board, whether it's locking out the other team's big or small, to be able to have that flexibility and versatility in this game to do both, to occasionally hit a jump shot. And this is what Achiuwa does in his sleep. The man had 6 points last night. He had 6 rebounds last night. He plays defense. He rim protects. And he has a comfort with Tibbs. Tibbs trusts his impact on the game and the minutes that he get to be productive. And that's exactly what it was. This is why we're giving him the quarter water of the game. And lastly, who gets the glizzy of the game? Ayo is right. Now, the glizzy of the game actually doesn't go to a player in this game. For this edition, because it's the Deli run, I'm giving the glizzy of the game to the Sacramento Kings. I'm giving the glizzy of the game to the Sacramento Kings for firing head coach Mike Brown. It was a little bit surprising to see, you know, when I think, and I haven't really paid much attention to any of the other teams in the league, okay? I don't follow them that close. But it did catch me off guard to see that they fired Mike Brown. They fired Mike Brown, and just a season and a half ago or 2 seasons ago, the culture was completely different. Their trajectory was on the same line as the New York Knicks. When we really started to get our buzz back and it started to seem like we were stabilizing as an organization, it was lockstep with Sacramento. Sacramento actually looked more, they looked like they were on a faster pace to be competitive for years to come. They had a great core in Fox and Domantas Sabonis, and they had just drafted 2 3-point specialists shooting like young cats. So I was kind of tight with them. Like, I used to call them the New York Knicks of the West, because they were playing the same style of gritty basketball, like the defense, etc. And they started running up the score. You know, so when we faced them, I think they busted us up. You know what I mean? So it was a great chance for us to kind of measure ourselves against them, because we were 2 teams on a come up. But for them to struggle a little bit, they didn't make any moves. I think last offseason, they decided this team really got them far. We're going to stand pat, because any moves we make will put us over the salary cap. And we're going to see if these veterans or these young vets could take a step up a little bit higher and improve. When they didn't, they got rid of this man. They got rid of this man. And I'm telling you, organizationally, the owner really won't get rid of a coach unless, first off, their owner is relatively new, so he's not necessarily experienced. So the first thing he's going to think about is, what is my star player thinking? How is he responding? And, you know, it's on the star player. Whether your coach stays or goes, it's on your star player, all right? And the glizzy of the game got to go to those cats, because Mike Brown, I used to disrespect him and be like, yo, he only got good because LeBron was his #1 player in Cleveland. But he proved himself. He proved himself taking on that project in Sacramento and turning it around. Not only establishing a culture and a vibe around that team, but getting those young cats to play for him with 2 straight 48-plus, wins. You don't get rid of a coach like that. You don't. So the glizzy of the game goes to the Sacramento Kings. I'm going to tell you this much. I made this post on X as well. There are Knicks fans who wanted to get rid of Tom Thibodeau the same way. And the reason we are where we are right now is because the ownership and the management endured those early struggles. When Brunson first got here, and it was a struggle, we were losing some games. We didn't know if it would mesh with Julius. People really was calling for Tibbs' head, to the point that management was about to make a move. And then Brunson stepped out and spoke on behalf of the coach. It's not the coach, it's us players. We got to get it together. And they stayed put. And then ultimately we are where we are right now. And notice, those people who were in the locker room that were there at the time that we were struggling, all of them are gone. All of them are gone. And one thing that remains, now that we have talent, now everybody's going to be looking at Tibbs as a genius. No, you need the players who have talent, but also you need the players who are on the coach's page. The coach says jump, the players say how high. And when the ownership and the management sees that they're rocking with the coach that much, everything is in concert. The moment that doesn't happen, you get Mike Brown being fired. So glizzy of the game goes to Sacramento Kings. And lastly, who gets the you wildin' moment of the game? Anyone who thinks that Tom Thibodeau has zero responsibility in New York Knicks players having career years. Follow that man's history. You say what you want about Tom Thibodeau. Everybody talks about his offense. Now he has one of the top offenses in the league. People talking about his defense was shabby. He was able to have high rankings in team defense over the past few years. Talk about the man can't coach. The man is a multiple time coach of the year in this league. First year out, came in and got coach of the year with players who would catch L's in the G League. What are we talking about? But the man, say what you will, the man is responsible for having a lot of players have career years under him. The man is responsible for these players getting bags. And we're seeing it again with the likes of Josh Hart. We're going to see it again with the likes of Karl Anthony Towns. We're going to see it again with the likes of a Landry Shamet, and the likes of an OG Anunoby, and the likes of a McCall Bridges, and the likes of a Jalen Brunson. The man is responsible for a lot of the career years in the same offense that you laughed at, playing on the same team with the same defense that you laughed at, with the same culture that you laughed at, with the same antiquated mentality you accuses him of. He's responsible. So with that, I say, you Knicks fans who doubt Tom Thibodeau, nah, son, nah. You wildin'. All right? I'm your boy Sheer. Enjoy the game tonight. Another Knicks Deli tomorrow after we watch this game. 6-game winning streak, baby. What are we talking? What are we talking about? Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. But remember this, whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here in Knicks Deli, everybody eats. I'm your boy Sheer, and I'm out. Enjoy the game. Peace. Hit me up on Twitter. Let's talk about it during the game. 1.